welcome back to another episode of Revealing Biblical Truths. Today we'll be discussing marriage in context of the Bible. We will be looking at the following questions. What defines a marriage? Is divorce permitted? If so, what are the requirements of the divorce? And how do we navigate and pursue a marriage in today's society with its laws? First, we find that marriage is the union of one man and one woman in Genesis 2:24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. In this verse, Yah is telling us that cleaving unto the wife makes us one flesh. But what does this word mean? The word cleave comes from the Hebrew word dabak, which is Strong's number 1692, and it means to cling, cleave, or keep close. So when a man or a woman cling to each other, that is a marriage. Here's another passage from Matthew chapter 5, verses 31 and 32. It has been said, Whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. So according to this verse, the only legal grounds for a divorce is adultery. For the woman which has a husband is bound to the law by the law to her husband as long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. Thus the Torah regarding marriage applies until death, but the covenant is over once the party dies. They say unto him, Why did Moses then command give a writing of divorcement, and to put her away? He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. In the beginning it was not Yah's plan for divorce. It was to be one woman and one man for life, but divorce was allowed for the cause of adultery because of their hardness of their hearts. In 1 Corinthians 7, there's a lot of discussion regarding marriage also. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not the power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not the power of his own body, but the wife. One of the purposes of a marriage is to avoid fornication and random hookups. Every human has these urges, and that's natural. But the proper avenue to express these is within the marriage, where the husband gives his wife the body, and likewise the wife. Defraud you not one another, except to be with consent for a time, that you may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and to come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. As a husband or a wife in a covenant relationship, we are not to deprive the other of our bodies or sexual needs, except to be with consent for a time, because if we do this, it could invite temptation in from the devil, which is unnecessary. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. So Yahusha himself said that the wife should not leave the husband, and the husband should not divorce his wife. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. Our brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but Yah hath called us unto peace. Here Paul says that if those spouses who are unbelieving depart, we should let them, and thereby they have broken the covenant by not cleaving to their spouses anymore. We are not under bondage, or bound to them by the covenant of the marriage, and Yah has called us to be at peace and not to be worried. If an unbelieving spouse happens to leave, are we supposed to sit there and be doomed to be alone for the rest of our lives and worried? No, we are called to be at peace and to be free from the covenant because the spouse has left and severed that bond. The biblical requirements for a marriage are very simple. It is simply a man and a woman who commit to each other and cling to each other. That commitment is supposed to be for life. But what about in today's society? What about marriage licenses, ceremonies, wedding rings, etc.? Well, to be quite honest, none of that's biblical, or is it needed to create a marriage. A marriage license is yet a second contract between two parties that enter into the government with the government on a contract. Entering into the separate contract gives control of the terms of the marriage, including property, assets, and even children. This is not what Yahweh has ordained or had in mind. Only He can dictate the terms of the marriage. In a state marriage, you can get divorced for any reason or no reason, but this is not the way that Yah intended. Children ripped apart from families, fathers forced to pay for alimony when it could be the wife's fault. All of this, combined with the LGBT community and transgenderism, all this agenda is Satan's plan to destroy the marriage, the very foundation of humanity. Wedding rings are also a pagan idea. It comes from the ancient Greek and Roman belief that the fourth finger had the longest blood vessel, which superstitiously connected the two souls together. Men didn't even wear rings in common practice until the 20th century. The point of all this is that marriage has become way more complicated than Yah designed it to be. Marriage is supposed to be a one woman, one man for life who cling to each other. That's all there is to it. And married people should not seek to leave, or divorce, or commit adultery, but to give one another their due benevolence so that the temptation does not enter in. If you enjoyed this teaching, hit the like and subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching. Till next time, Shalom.